Where I grew up on the northwest coast of Ireland, minutes from the beach, being born into this pioneering surfing family, and so the ocean was that constant force and part of our way of life from really early on. And both my parents were surfers, and so I've been standing on a surfboard since I was 4 years old. But I've always felt that, a real sense of belonging. Big wave surfing, it's very intimate in terms of that connection with the sea. It's really visceral, so it strips away any of the, I suppose, a lot of that baggage you carry on land. The big wave world is really interesting because it's so niche, so tight-knit, and largely male-dominated. And in Ireland, it's entirely men, apart from myself. And it's really challenging early on when I felt that buzz and draw to want to surf bigger waves. There, it's in that setting too, it's very much about a partnership and team and trust. And then as a woman and being like the only woman, it was really difficult to break into that. As a woman, you have to sort of claim space and break new ground that hasn't been done before in a space that's really quite challenging and scary as hell. It can be really challenging that it's hard not to get caught up in that narrative of having to somehow prove yourself and measure up more because you're a woman, and there's that expectation that you're just maybe not quite good enough or strong enough, or all that not enoughs that we get told from when we're, so little. And then just not having, in the early days, as much role models, and in Ireland, just not having any of that female kind of mentorship. So finding ways to create that for myself. So it comes down to just that radical sense of trust in your own ability, in your passion and desire to be there, and really trying to do as much as I could to reinforce that connection with the ocean, and always going back to why it matters most. We live increasingly urbanized lives, indoor lives, that really diminishes our ability to access all the incredible health benefits that come from being in nature. And the research work I'm doing is evidencing just how much the sea and water can amplify that. At the heart of it in my work, and I work, I suppose, across the research and the science, and then different projects and workshops, and basically everything I do, at the core of it is trying to, I suppose, share with others the value of that connection with the ocean, because it influences so many things in our daily lives. And so it basically, how might we create a society where we're ocean literate? We live on a blue planet, so where we understand why the ocean matters wherever we are in the world. Obviously, there's also another movement around mindfulness and how we can act more mindfully. And I've always found, I think, whether we're conscious or not, surfing is it's mindfulness in action. There's no other way to be with it. And a friend of mine, another surfer, author Sam Bleakley, who's written a book on surfing and mindfulness, which is really lovely. But he talks about how it's not the ocean doesn't just bring us back into ourselves to find peace and stillness, which it can, but actually he talks about how it reorients us in the environment. So we have that connection to place, and then also then feel that aliveness with the natural world, So it's that it's more expansive rather than being inside ourselves. Yeah. In wintertime, it's pretty brutal, and it can be hard to stick out the whole winter without escaping somewhere warmer. So my early surf travel experiences were to the Canary Islands as a kid. It's been a long time since I was there, but we go every winter for almost 10 years. Yeah, it fosters a lot of different ways of connecting with the ocean for me, because it's also where I learned how to scuba dive for the first time, age 12. And a great way to, I suppose, learn how to dive and get that appreciation for what's below the surface, which really actually enriched my surf experience. There's so much going on really there in terms of understanding Earth systems. I think the Canary Islands are fascinating because you have the ocean currents, the different sea life that brings, and then of course what you're saying now about the sky and our ability to understand space and the universe, and then the volcanic aspect, like the energy coming up from the Earth's core as well. So it's kind of got it all, like fire, earth, wind, water.